Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me, your host, Tommy Gilberts, as we sit down and take a behind-the-scenes look into Titan athletics with weekly interviews with coaches and athletes. This is Titan Table Talk. Hello, Titan fans, Titan family. Welcome into the Ames podcast studio for week 7 of Titan Table Talk here in October of 2024. We may just go from the longest episode ever to the shortest episode ever recorded, but we've got a couple great guests for you today, Chloe Heyl and Franchesca Smith. We may, depending on scheduling, also have a chance to talk with football, and by the time this airs, we will know that, but I still don't as of this moment. So without further ado, our first guest, women's lacrosse attacker sophomore, Chloe Heyl. How are we doing, Chloe?
Good, how are you?
I am wonderful. The voice is less than wonderful, so in case you can't tell out there, we're going to let Chloe do most of the talking today, but it's holding up for right now. It's better than a few minutes ago, at least. We can say that. But Chloe, obviously, coming from Houston, Texas, a little over a year ago now to start your 4 years here at Illinois Wesleyan. You have many out-of-state athletes, but it's certainly not the majority. And tell us a little bit about your journey here and how you found your way to Wesleyan.
Yeah, so mainly Wesleyan because of lacrosse, not just because of lacrosse. Academics are great as well. But they recruited me my senior year, went to a tournament in Texas and saw me. Had a couple meetings with coaches, then came on a visit. The visit's really what got me. I would say the team is what got me here. I just got a sense of like family once I got here, a sense of like belonging and acceptance. Like you would do anything for each other. Like you can be whoever you want to be whatever you are, and they'll accept you. And not just like with the team, but with the coaches, with the staff, with the professors here. Sat on a couple classes, really enjoyed the materials. So yeah, I just felt like immediately like I would fit in. I felt immediately at home. I feel like there's so many opportunities here I could go with, so many different directions. That's pretty much why I chose it.
Yeah, and I think that's, sentiments that so many of our athletes would echo for sure in various ways, obviously throughout their careers. And, especially that angle of oftentimes, if there's not the perfect club or the perfect extracurricular activity for you, there's always a chance to start it. And that's what we talk to our recruits about all the time, too. Yeah. That's how so many of our, newer clubs, newer activities on campus, whether athletics related or not, have started. It's because there's a couple freshmen or sophomores who have an interest in it. And that's the main thing, of course, we wanted to talk to you about today is the founding of Athlete Ally this year on campus. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about what that is for those who don't know.
So Athlete Ally is a national nonprofit organization that works for LGBTQ plus athletic advocacy. So they work to promote inclusivity and equality in sports. They work with the NBA, the NCAA, and the ACC primarily. A lot of working with policy and inclusive policy. So we're just a campus chapter of Athlete Ally. I think there's about 20 campus chapters right now. And what we do, or what we hope to do, is we want to host Pride games. We have meetings about twice a month. We want to have some educational workshops, some trainings for coaches and staff. And then eventually, as the club progresses, we really want to work on, like Athlete Ally does, policy, inclusive policy, so in our athletic department and eventually into the conference level. That's a big thing that we want to strive to work on.
And when you say, there's only 20 campus chapters that exist right now around the country, with that small number, how is this something that you heard of first?
Yeah. So Coach Keller, Lindsay Keller, she introduced it to me. She's a big mentor for me in general, and last year I was meeting with her discussing about how I felt like there wasn't a place on campus for athletes, or LGBTQ plus athletes, to be together, to have a place for advocacy, and she recommended to look into Athlete Ally. So I looked into it end of last semester, or last spring. Looked into it, looked into the website, and then this summer I started like a training program they have for campus chapters, got on a call with the representative from Athlete Ally, and really just like fell in love with what they do. Attended a couple meetings with the campus chapter programming and decided just to start one. It wasn't terribly difficult. All I had to do was a training and a couple meetings, and then we became an official chapter.
Yeah, that was partly kind of going to be my next question, too, is because when you're working with, just starting a club on campus, you kind of do what you want within the guidelines of, a registered student organization. When you're talking about a club that's more of a nationwide entity, a little bit like franchising McDonald's. There's a little bit more steps that you need to go through typically to be able to associate yourself with that name.
Yeah.
So tell us a little more about what you did this summer specifically with the national group.
Yeah, so I did an online training course. It took me a couple of days, wasn't too difficult. It just consisted of videos and like readings about LGBTQ athletes and the different like steps of starting a chapter. So like how to get involvement, how to create a constitution, just like breaking it down. What is Athlete Ally? How can you like show that on campus? And then again, I had a meeting with the representative. I think I had about 2 meetings with her. And then again, went on the call with a couple other athletes from different schools that have campus chapters. And I really wanted to hear about their experience and what they were doing. A lot of them, from what I've heard or from what I learned on the call, are actually new as well, or just starting up again. So it's nice that we're all kind of in the same boat. And there are experienced ones. Like I know Tufts has a great program. I think they won an award actually last year for it. So there's definitely places to look up to, but there's also places to like work with. So yeah.
And that, I feel like that can kind of be helpful to some degree when you have a lot of, it's not like the one newcomer and and there's 45 chapters in the Midwest alone that have been established for 25 years. When you have a lot of people who are maybe going through the same early stage development and trying to, make a name for it on campus, you can kind of bounce those ideas off each other. Does that happen at all, like between you and other campus leaders?
So part of the chapter program is that we have monthly meetings, so we can discuss like what we're doing as a chapter. If we have any like questions, we're like, oh, what are y'all doing? How can we implement that? How can we do it differently? So that's coming up, I think, next week for me. So I attend those monthly, and then there's an advisor meeting as well. So we have 2 advisors, Abby Kushina and Katie Gonzalez, and they both can attend those meetings. They're not required. Mine are required, but they can attend those and learn a bit more about how they can be supportive as an advisor. And yeah.
Okay. And so if our student athletes are watching this or may have heard about Athlete Ally but don't really know anything about it, how would somebody who's interested go about either joining or getting more information?
Yeah. So by joining, you can just come to a meeting. So our next meeting is October 29th, 7:30 in the West Classroom at Shirk. But also, you can just look up the website. I'm pretty sure just look up Athlete Ally and it'll come up. Another great thing about Athlete Ally, which I learned also as well, is they have like training for everyone. So you can do like a student athlete training, you can do a coach's training, and it'll just tell you more about the community and like things that involve with athletics and like the unique challenges we face and how to be a better ally in general. So I recommend that if they're interested in that, they take the course. It's free, it's online. It could take them an hour if they want to go through it like pretty fast. I think that'd be a help to be a better teammate, to be a better athlete, to be a better leader on the field, to know more about the community and the challenges we face. You can also follow us on Instagram. It's IWU_Athlete Ally. So we'll post there for meetings, events, and stuff. Or DM us if you want to know more.
Very nice. Well, I really appreciate on behalf of the department all the work that you've put in, because it's one thing to say, no matter what you're talking about on a campus in a department, it's one thing to say, oh, I wish we had this. We don't have a place for this. And it stops there. It's another thing to actually step up and put the work in to create the space that you want to create, and especially as a sophomore and someone who's got really 3 years left to grow this and build it out. Any other information you think is worthwhile for student athletes to have, or you think we've pretty much covered it?
I think we've pretty much covered it.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with everything as you continue to get Athlete Ally off the ground, and good luck with everything for hopefully a healthy and fun lacrosse season this spring as well.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a few moments with Franchesca Smith.
Get her with the right side, the cutter to Hardy for the throwdown. A senior day to remember for Grant Hardy with an impressive flush.
The 2-2 pitch, called strike 3. A breaking ball down the middle, freezes the batter bends, and Jake Pullum sprints off the mound.
This one swung on into the outfield. That's going far, and it is gone. Bailey Turner walks it off for the Titans.
5 seconds. Sawyer White, the heave, the bank is open!
And welcome back once again. Our second and final distinguished guest of the week is Illinois Wesleyan track and field senior Franchesca Smith. Franchesca, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. It's a little chilly out, but other than that, everything's good.
I was at the Illini game on Saturday. It was 84 degrees and sunny at like 2 p.m. for kickoff, and then by that night, we're like putting on sweatshirts, sitting by the fire. So, yeah, summer to fall very, very quickly here, but means track season is getting into swing a little bit. I know Coach Marino said you guys are going like 2 days a week officially right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we have Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays are kind of the tougher workouts, and Wednesdays is kind of just like explosive stuff.
Okay. And then when do you guys really get into the full swing of things for normal training?
November 4th is when we start everyday practices, full practices.
Okay. I mean, obviously looking back, a wonderful career so far, coming out of Bloomington High School, just a couple minutes down the road, 5-time All-CCW selection in the triple jump, a couple indoor and 3 outdoor, if memory serves me correctly, and a CSC Academic All-District selection as well a couple springs ago. Any particular, whether it's individual or team goals that you have for this year or your final couple seasons?
I think for my last year, my main goal is to just keep doing what I've been doing. All CCIW, that's always great to just go out and get points for the team. And I think as a team, we have a lot of new freshmen, so it's a lot of new factors and different events. So it would just be exciting to get out and watch everyone and hopefully score higher as a team than we have been the past couple of seasons.
Yeah. And, one of the things that really, very few of our track athletes have gotten to experience in the last 25 years is actually running and jumping for 2 different head coaches. Of course, you get to spend your first couple of years with Chris Schumacher, who left a legacy with this program that will last for decades. And then, of course, one of his most successful student athletes and certainly one of our favorites during our time here, Amelia Glick, now Amelia Marino, taking over last year. What's it now been like having some continuity here with Coach Lauder and Coach Marino now for a second year?
It's been nice. I feel like everyone's still trying to get a feel of things. Things are a bit different now, but changes can also always be good. So I think we're all getting into a rhythm now, so I'm excited for this next season and my last season to just see what we can do, not only in the jump pit, but also on the track. I think it's going to be exciting to watch.
I think so, too. It'll be fun. I think everyone's looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah.
And so, one of the biggest things that you've been involved with and were the founder of, off the track, out of the jump pit here at Illinois Wesleyan, was founding the Black Student Athlete Association, which I know you started to get underway towards the end of your sophomore year, and then were really able to kick into full swing last fall. Tell us a little about that and how that got off the ground.
So BSAA, the Black Student Athlete Alliance Association, is just something towards the end of beginning of my sophomore year, I was kind of feeling like, I know we do, everyone knows Illinois Wesleyan is a PWI, so a predominantly white institution. And the track team, I would say, is one of the most diverse teams. I guess we have a lot more students, the track team, the football team. So there's a couple, I guess it's just a more diverse teams than some of the other teams. So I just got to thinking, everyone needs somewhere to, I guess, I'm trying to think of how to put this. I don't really
almost like some place to belong and some place to
go
together.
Somewhere. I think because like BSU, Black Student Union, is somewhere for students to go, but I feel like as athletes, like our schedules aren't always the same. They vary. There's just different factors that we have to think about as also a student, a Black student, and also an athlete. So I feel like we just all needed some place that we can go, hang out, talk, discuss mental health. I know last year we had India, she's previous counselor here at IWU, and she came and talked to us about mental health compared to being like just an athlete versus being like a Black athlete at a predominantly white institution. We've had like game nights just to kind of get everyone to know each other. It's like we're all always at Shirk, but it's hard to get to know everyone, especially if everyone does a different sport. So just somewhere where we can all hang out and just talk about our experiences.
What was the process like to get that off the ground and to kind of spread the word about it?
It was interesting at first. I brought in one of my friends on the track team, Davy. Shout out Davy. She really helped me kind of spread the word. I had to create a constitution. How RSOs are created, you have to make a constitution for the RSO. You have to apply through ISO, which is the the student involvement office, and then they have to go back, make sure you have everything in it, and then after that, just like letting people know like this is an RSO, like where they can be welcome, they come. So going to like the RSO fairs, it was a eye-opening experience, I would say, trying to create something like that and get it pushed out to students so they can know where to come.
Yeah, and I feel like, maybe one of the advantages you had in getting that started was that unlike many RSOs that are, drawing kind of whoever from a full body of 1,600 plus students, you have a very specific group that you're targeting, and you know exactly where to find most of them, so that does make it easier.
Yeah.
How have you been pleased with the response so far that you've seen and what you've been able to do with it in its first year plus?
I feel like so far it has been a good turnout, especially year one. I think year two we're still trying to kick things off the ground and just see what new activities we can get involved in, and what collaborations we can do just to bring more awareness to it and just to get people feeling comfortable to come, because I feel like new things, I wouldn't say frightened, but people aren't always open to new things. So just having them come, especially since we are all student athletes, we have busy schedules. If we have meets, like the fall athletes are in season, so they can't meet at certain times. And then if you have practice, so also trying to find a schedule and time that works for everyone to come.
Mm-hmm. Have you done anything this fall so far in these first 6-7 weeks, or mostly just planning for the rest of the year?
So we've had our first meeting. We had our first meeting a couple weeks ago, which had a pretty decent turnout, just kind of getting to know everyone, starting the year off strong. What events everyone does. If there's freshmen, how they like high school, what best ways can we help them moving on throughout our college experience, because that's another thing, outside of our team and outside of maybe the classes or other things that we're involved in, we also want to be, I also want it to feel like kind of family, you can, even if you just see someone walking on campus, just a warm smile or something, or just a face that you know.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if you've heard from any of them yet, but I can pick out quite a few alums. Dan Hornsby comes to mind, who has always talked about, and unrelated to anything you've done in the last couple of years, but he's talked about wishing there was a better space for black student athletes, specifically at Illinois Wesleyan, because, as you know, I'm in a predominantly white institution, predominantly white athletic department. Mm-hmm. You want that space to be able to gather and share experiences and just be able to be together. And I think there's a lot of probably people who came before you in 15, 20, 25 plus years who would have really, been proud to see what you've done with this group so far.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm just hoping that once I'm gone, there's someone who's there who cares enough to just continue with it and hopefully make it bigger and something that will be last standing long time, I don't know, here at Illinois Wesleyan.
Yeah, I was kind of going to ask that next. Is we're talking to Chloe a little bit about Athlete Ally, and she's sitting here at the beginning of her sophomore year, being able to see it out for the next 2.5 plus years. Mm-hmm. You're in a little different situation. Have you kind of had those talks with anybody yet, or is that more kind of second semester?
I think it'll probably come more second semester, because that's when our elections are for vice president, president, secretary, and all of that. So it'll probably come mostly that semester. I don't know really. I would just kind of want to know who's interested, and just hopefully I'm handing off the reins to a full team that's committed to pushing in whatever way that we can the unity of black student athletes at Illinois Wesleyan, because Davey's also a senior, so yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, my guess is, given the record-setting freshman class that came in this year, my guess is there will be quite a few great upcoming leaders for you to choose from, hopefully, for sure. But again, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for sharing everything that you've done, and good luck with the track season, and good luck with the second full year of Black Student Athlete Association.
Thank you so much.